Righto, welcome to my Football Manager career mode with Melbourne City. So this is actually in Football Manager 2020, but at this time I have gotten a database that actually allows us to have all of the new transfers and everything. So won't be too different. The date will just be a little bit different. We're still in 2019, pre-COVID, so living the good life. But yeah, here we go. So Melbourne City FC hire myself for 5.5k a week. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But at the moment, I'm just wanting to really kick this channel off with a Football Manager save because that's really what I've been interested in lately. And also with the fact that I am currently injured, I can't really do what I want to do, which is go to games, film, and possibly show a couple of NPL games, local games in the area, and that sort of thing. But here we are. So there is still Lockie Wales there, who obviously left for Western United at the start of the season, and Vin Bickler is still here as well. But we do have a couple of things like Remy Najarine's on loan, Najar's on loan. So this obviously happened a little bit before the start of the season, before everything was finalised. That's when they did this database, which is fine. We can honestly work with that. Honestly, we wouldn't prefer to have Wales. Righto, so here's the 5-year plan. So what they want from us is to increase the commercial revenue. Don't know how we're going to do that considering we're in a salary capped league. And then we've got to finish in top two is our requirement. And also the FFA Cup, they don't really care about that. Righto, well, looking at that, I'll probably end up winning the FFA Cup and finishing 10th. Righto, here we are. So, of course, the first thing we're going to go to is the tactics, and we're just going to pick something random here because I honestly have no idea what sort of tactic that we're going to employ. But here we are. So we've got Melbourne City. Now, the point of this save, the point of this series, really is to just jumpstart my YouTube channel, just because I really want to get into it. And honestly, I have no other means of doing so except playing either Football Manager or FIFA. Jamie McLaren is currently on international duty. That's why they've apparently put Wales up top. And now for our goalkeeper, for some reason or another, we've got a John Jones who is actually a new gen, 18 years of age. He doesn't look too bad, but definitely not going to be taking Tom Glover's spot at the moment. So we'll pop Glover into there. Anyway, so for starters, we'll check the emails. Okay, so we've got a couple of players that are last year in contract. Of course, with the A-League being salary capped, there are a lot of players that are in their last year of contract, um, such as Harrison Dalbridge. So I'm in two minds about this because he has left, of course, at the start of this season, which was a little while ago. He went over to Korea. Now, like I said, I'm in two minds of it because I do want to keep him. I would have liked to see him stay. But to be honest, I want to make this as realistic as possible. So I think we will actually transfer list him. Now, that's going to send waves throughout the team, considering it's my first day of the job and I'm trying to get rid of Dalbridge. But to be honest, we're going to get rid of him just for realistic purposes. Now, as you can see there, team cohesion is abysmal. So I'm probably ruining that by getting rid of Delbridge. But yeah, we're going to do the same thing with a couple of players. So Richard Vimbickler, of course, he's going to get the boot. And also Lockie Wales. Where is he? There he is. We'll get rid of him as well. So there we go. We've transfer listed those players that have left in real life. Now we've got a pretty good squad here in terms of realism, except we are missing a couple of the guys who might be in the development centre. If we have a look at our MPL, we've got Kolakowski, Kieran Stokes. If we have a look at the youth team, oh goodness, got a few new gens here as well. One player that I'm very interested in is actually Marco Tilio to see if he's been. No, he's still at Sydney. You know what? That's fine. We might be able to pinch him from Sydney, but of course there's no transfer fees or anything between clubs, so it might be a little bit difficult to actually get him. So his contract expires in May. Righto, so here we go. I've just had a look at the tactics, and I've gone for a sort of a pressing gameplay as we do play in real life. So the attacking width is a little bit wide, and of course we do try to focus on shorter passes, getting those quick movements in, and also passing into space. So then we're just using the players that have a bit of pace, such as Adrian Luna. So at the same time, we want to be working into the box, which sort of complements the shorter passing, and also dribbling less. So then we're focusing on that passing movement. So in transition, we are countering. So of course, if we lose the ball, we're going to be pressing hard, and if we win the ball, we're going to be going straight away. And now I do want to have a little bit of freedom with this. So I have deselected a couple of options here, but I want us to have a high line and still keep that urgency when pressing. Um, but one thing that I did notice actually when I was having a look at the players is Curtis Good only 9 passing, which of course with this season we've seen that he is actually quite a good passer with the ball. So that's a little bit tough on him. I would have liked to play him as a ball playing defender, but at this time it's just a little bit too risky to have him playing passes if he's only got 9 out of 20 of passing. So this is our tactics. So we've got a pressing forward at the front in McLaren. Then we've got a inverted winger and a inside forward. So these guys are going to be cutting into the middle of the pitch, and it'll allow our fullbacks Atkinson and Jemo to really rush up forward and try to get either a shot on goal or a cross in. And then in the middle of the park, we've gone for a very balanced approach. So we've got Barangay, who's going to be focusing on more of the attacking playmaking. O'Neill is going to be a box-to-box midfielder, so he's going to be basically in all parts of the park. And then Griffiths, so doing what he does best, winning the ball back and laying it off to a teammate. And then, of course, like I said, we've got Good and Dalbridge at the back, not ball playing. They're just going to be normal sort of centre back. So doing the odd sort of pass here and there, but it's not going to be like they're going to be rushing into the middle of the field to be passing. So, of course, that's until Delbridge does get a transfer, which if he does, he does. If he doesn't, then nothing we can really do about that. And then Tom Glover, sweeper keeper. So he is going to be rushing out a little bit more high tendency, and hopefully he'll be getting the ball for us. So there we go. That is our tactic, and hopefully we'll be having a friendly shortly to test it out. Alrighty then. So, as I was making a couple of transfer moves, Vin Bickler came to me and he basically said that he doesn't want to move. So, I've had to agree to that. But as we've just sort of gone 13 minutes in forward time, there was an offer for 1.4 million. So I accepted it. We'll see what happens there because 1.4 million, that would be pretty good considering some of that would come into the transfer budget. But as you can see here, we've got a couple of moves happening. One is basically just an Aussie centre back who he doesn't look too bad. Now he used to play for the Mariners in Perth and whatnot, but now he's applying his trade for the Mounties Wanderers. But we can get him for about 12k, even though his value's at about 100k. So he's accepted, so the team's accepted that amount, and we can actually go in to sign him. But the biggest one here is Eric Paartalu, the man who won the derby for us in that 1-0 thriller. He can come back. So what I'm thinking here is basically he'll be either a backup to Griffiths, or he'll play in that little slot in the defensive midfield, and Griffiths will actually come back to be a centre back. Of course, the salary cap is what it is, so we've got to be a little bit careful here. So we are going to try to pay the least amount, and that's actually the least amount that we can pay for him. So I'm happy that he said that. Now we don't have the biggest of transfer budgets, but I think 8k is doable. We'll try to reduce that a little bit. We'll see what he wants. Appearance fee, that's a bit too much, honestly. And then we'll keep that about the same. Clean sheet bonus. Probably not going to be getting too many clean sheets, but he's happy with that. All right. So we'll finalize that. He'll surely be coming to the club. He wants to be, he wants a lot, to say the least. I don't really want to appoint him as vice captain. So he's actually happy with that. So we'll go forward. Now this is the big one. So I'm going to ask our director of football to just sort of see what he reckons we should be offering him. Now, this wouldn't put us over too much, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure the sign-on fee counts towards the salary cap. So just have to be a little bit careful about that one. But look, I don't want to sign him on for 3 years either, because to be honest, if it goes on for a year or two, we might actually outgrow him as a club because he is 33 years old. I don't want him to be 36 and still playing for us as a main role, as an important player. So we'll see what he thinks about this. Now, 2 years at 5K a week, he's not too happy with it. His requested contract length is 3 years, and that's what he wants. So it'll come a long way for him to make an agreement. So we will be able to push this down a little bit, see what he says. He's happy with it. So now I've got to think, do we actually need Paartalu? Because look, he's a decent player, but if we compare him with Ross and Griffiths, they're very similar. I mean, Paartalu does have a couple of things going for him, such as penalty taking, but that will be McLaren. He's got a good touch, decent passing, but not as good as Roston. So it just comes down to it. Do we need to be spending that much of our wage budget just to bring a fairly well-renowned player back to the club? Now, Vimbikla is not happy that we've tried selling him. Righto, so I've tried something here. We tried to get Andrew in the boot by offering Lockie Wales and Richard Vimbekler. So look, these are players that we don't really need because, well, honestly, I'd love to keep them, but it's realistic. Okay, so let's suggest that they don't want to give up Andrew Naboot for 3 players. I just don't think we're going to get him. Oh yes, we've actually done it. He's told us that he doesn't want to move. We've accepted a bid anyway, and he's agreed. So there we go. We're going to be selling Richard Vimbikler for 1.4 million, and 600k of that will be coming to our transfer budget. So that will take us to, let's have a look. We've got about 900k sitting in the budget there with 43,000 available to us. Now, as you can see here, I have gone for a couple of other players like Harry Sutar. Now, that is in the process of being offered. It would be good to have him as a loanee for the season because obviously he's a great player. He's 200 centimeters, so no crosses are going to be getting into the box. But look, we'll see if he accepts. Right, so we couldn't get Sutar. And also, we've got Eric sitting here, who unfortunately I am actually going to withdraw the offer because he hasn't come back in about 5 days. And honestly, I'm just not thinking it's the right amount, like the right deal that we have to make at the moment. So we're going to be withdrawing that one. We're not going to be getting Eric Paartalu, even though I really want to. We're just not going to be getting him. So we haven't made any moves exactly in terms of players. We've made some scouting moves and some coaching moves though. So we've got a couple of new staff members there. We're paying them a ton of money each, which is completely fine because they're actually quite good. What we've got here is a game against Collingwood City. So by all means, we should be smashing them. But of course, we're not going to take any chances. We are going to use our fully strength team. So of course, on the bench, we've got Connor Metcalf, of course, a great player. Vin Bickler, who hasn't left just yet because the transfer window has not opened for Europe, just because we're in September now. Of course, with the A-League season starting so late, we've missed that first transfer window, so he'll be joining in January. Then we've got a couple of players down here that have come from our youth team. So, of course, we've got Ianucci, Stokes, Kolikovsky, who are in our youth team and starting to play with the seniors in real life. But we've also got a couple of new gens. So we've got Matthew Woodland, who looks like a decent left back. He's very well rounded. So he doesn't really have any stats that are really popping out to me other than his tackling, which of course as a fullback is quite important. But he's very well rounded in the sense that he can do the job there and not look out of place in the A-League. And then we've got a couple of more. So Thomas Lewis here, he's really not that great, but we just had to pop someone in to fill those sort of gaps. Alrighty, so our season is kicking off here, and of course we've got quite the team here lining up against Collingwood City, who, by the way, are playing in State League 3 in the Southeast. So this honestly should be an absolute routing. And here we go, Harrison Dalbridge scoring the first goal within 45 seconds of the game. So that's a great header. Nothing less than you would expect from Big Dalbo. Can you tell that they're State League 3? I mean, tell me you play State League 3 without telling me you play State League 3. Oh no. Righto, so an absolute thumping to start off our season. So that is a good pre-season outing against Collingwood City. Now, of course, just remember they are State League 3, so, 8-0 is pretty much expected, unlike the next derby against Melbourne Victory, which is going to be 8-0. That is very much expected. So here we go. In terms of our schedule, we are currently 3 friendlies away from starting the A-League season. So we've got one coming up against Middle Park, then Western Eagles, and then South Melbourne, who's a little bit more on our level in terms of them being in NPL. So that gives us about a month's time, and we will be playing Melbourne Victory away for round one. Righto, thank you for watching the first episode. So next episode, we will be playing against Melbourne Victory for round one, and hopefully we'll have a couple of players that have signed for us to just strengthen the team and get a little bit more into the A-League. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.